part of the world you are joining us from, the Global Council for the Promotion of International Trade welcomes you all for this prestigious event, World MSME Day 2022. I am Ananya Banerjee Chaudhary, the R&D and Communication Officer and your host for today. Every year on June 27, micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises day is celebrated to honor their role in achieving the sustainable development goals. Small and medium-sized enterprises account for 90% of businesses, 60 to 70% of employment, and they account for their half of their global GDP according to United Nations. The Global Council for International Trade, based in India, South Africa, United States, and UK, with board and council members representing all over the world. This year, we are celebrating the day with global perspective from various departments, ministries, chambers of commerce, and international organizations. We believe that global perspective has a significant impact on paving the way to the future. Coordinated global responses is key to MSME post-pandemic economic. World MSME Day is an important opportunity to look at this topical issue in a very practical and policy-oriented manner and in a way global context of MSME. Here, we ask the rest of the world to work together to help MSME get through the current crisis and build up their ability to handle future shocks. We encourage GCPIT members to create an open, non-discriminatory, and predictable global trade and business environment that helps and encourages MSMEs to participate in international trade and business. Today, we have a very special guest with us, Dr. Sebastian Galindo Cantor. He is a trilingual research specialist in customer foreign trade, AEO, and foreign exchange regions with more than 7 years of experience and a solid background in the analysis and implementation of business models in national and multinational companies. Versed in leading and developing multidisciplinary groups that reach pre-established results and goals. Today, he will be sharing his valuable insight on the topic international trade and investment opportunities for his country. Over to you, Mr. Sebastian.
Thanks for the invitation, and it's a pleasure to be here talking to you from Bogota, Colombia, here in South America. So good morning from South America, good afternoon in the middle of Europe, and maybe good night if you are in Asia. It's a pleasure to me, like talking to you about my country and investment and trade opportunities that Colombia offers to the world, and how Colombia could be your next place for destination in order to make new kind of businesses. More than ever, it's important that we work in a globalization era, or the globalization 2.0. So I will present my slides. Hopefully it's going to be 20 minutes talking about the main issues of my country. So give me a second. I will share my screen. I already have. I want to review if you could see my presentation. Yes? It's already uploaded. Give me 1 second. Okay. I think that it's clear. Yes? Okay, that's perfect. So for this little brief introduction about my city, I propose that the presentation is Colombia, a promising destination for strategic investment. My name is Sebastian Galindo Cantor, and what are going to be the main topics that we're going to talk about? First one, I will lead a little introduction, who I am. Second one, like we're going to review a video about Colombia, so you can see in different photos and different perspectives how is my country. We're going to finish with then a country overview. We're going to analyze what are the main trade policies and agreements that Colombia have today, in how it works with the invest climate, the support of development of small medium enterprises, investment opportunities, and obviously we're going to talk about some specific cases that Colombia have in order to review these kind of companies that are making the difference in the global trade area. And finally, we're going to arrive to the conclusions. So even though Anilla already have introduced myself, I would like to explain. I'm the General Director for the chapter of Colombia from the Global Council for the Promotion of International Trade. I'm the CEO International Trade, and I'm the CEO from ITAO, International Trade Analysis Organization here in Colombia. Our purpose is to review and work with the universities in order to promote trade, customs, and foreign direct investment here in our country. I had experience such more than 8 years working as a consultant in global trade, with a solid background in different kind of analysis, foreign trade zones, even other trade areas and customs. Even though I'm professor in customs and international trade, and I had the pleasure to speak at the World Customs Organization in different events, PICARD events in North of Macedonia and in Brussels last years. If you want to contact me, you can write me to info@itao.com.co, or in a case you could contact me through my LinkedIn webpage. So I think that the most important issue that we're having here is the Micro, Small, and Medium-Sized Enterprises Day 2023. So let me introduce something and give you some important data about MSMEs companies here in Latin America, like a brief introduction, and why it's important to talk about that. Well, the first point is micro, small, and medium enterprise are fundamental component of the social and economic fabric of Latin America and the Caribbean. 99.5 firms in the region are considered SMEs, with almost 9 of 10 classified under this category. It means that more than 60% of these companies produce at the formal employment in the region. And from that point of view, it means like we have it means an economic growth, formalization, and well, the challenge that we have in the region in general is that and the path to build the policies for the future is going to be the economic growth of these enterprises, formalization and diversification, and are those objectives that the continent will work on. So, for example, I bring here like all information that I got from the OECD, the studies from Latin America, and obviously what we see that the micro represents more than 90. That in Europe it will represent a little bit like 95%. Taking in mind the employment, it takes like around 30% between Europe. Like we share like the same kind of information with Europe. And for example, but you're going to see that in Latin America, we're going to take in the employment is higher with the large companies. And for example, this is a good point of view regarding the GDP. Yeah, the participation of the MSMEs companies in Latin America is not that big. So I think that with that kind of information and sharing information about our countries, we can grow and make the difference, and we can grow the participation of MSME companies in Latin America. Yeah, you look, for example, the difference from Europe. So taking in mind this consideration and coming to Colombia, yeah, we can say that in Colombia, 90% of the companies are considered MSE. And the idea is to work on one of the kind of problems is that excuse me, is the ¿cómo es que se llama? Is the capacity building that we're going to give to you through this information on how to do business in Colombia. I think that given information in this point, it's going to open new opportunities for trade, and it's going to make the difference in the time of disruptions that we have been living right now. So in this part, we're going to the second point, we're going to the country overview, but first I would like to share a video. It's 2 minutes video that will make a brief introduction of our country, and you can see some beautiful landscape and information from that it will help us in order to develop our presentation. So,
welcome to Colombia. We have been expecting you. We have developed a special roadmap to help you get acquainted with our country and feel comfortable investing with us. Colombia is the second most biodiverse country in the world, and this rich natural environment provides us with millions of hectares for agricultural production, as well as an ample supply of raw materials used in all kinds of industries by skilled Colombian workers. Thanks to its geographic location, with shores on 2 oceans and great passenger and cargo air connectivity, Colombia offers great advantages as an exports platform to supply the world from. And it has also become an ideal nearshoring destination for international companies that are diversifying their regional supply chains. Colombia also displays one of the highest economic growth rates in the region, and is expected to continue growing through its infrastructure master plan, focused on technical, social, and environmental sustainability. The country welcomes international investors by offering various facilitating factors. Colombia's unique, talented, and highly skilled workforce is one of the largest in the region. Colombia offers a special free trade zone system, and as part of its commitment towards being increasingly sustainable and competitive, the country offers special tax benefits for companies that generate a positive social and environmental impact. Colombia is a great option for your next investment. So, are you looking for the right time to invest? Colombia has created an environment marked by excellence, and our highly talented people will help take your business to the next level. The opportunity? The choice is yours. And the place? It's definitely Colombia.
So yeah, that was an introduction, and you see different landscapes and the different opportunities that you can have from the Colombian point of view. I will back with my presentation. So yeah, like taking in mind those opportunities that we're going to review in further of the presentation. Like we're going to make a little introduction. The name is Republic of Colombia. The capital is Bogota. We have to make a change here. Oh my God, the capital is Bogota. One moment, I will make the change. Thanks that we can. One second. Bogota. Excuse me for that. Okay, so yeah. The name of my country is Republic of Colombia. The capital is Bogota. It's located in the center of the city, as you see in the map. We have the government is Presidential Republic. Right now, our president name is Gustavo Petro. Our national day is 20th of July. We have a population of more than 52 million of persons. Here is one of the largest countries here in South America. So we have a great opportunity for consumption. Our currency is Colombian pesos, and our time zone is GMT-5. So we have like close borders, like the video said that we have, for example, the opportunities, and we have 2 important ports here in the north side of the Caribbean Sea. We have Santa Marta and we have Cartagena. And we have here the best and the most important port for the connection with the Asian countries that is going to make the difference. That is Buenaventura, that is not far from Cali. We have borders with Venezuela, that today this border is open. and the government is working in trade relations with Venezuela. So if you are interested, maybe we know that Venezuela have some political issues, but Colombia is working right now to reestablish the relations. We have a border with Ecuador, Peru, and Brazil. We have border with Panama, and here we have a other sea borders. Yeah, taking in mind that. Let's talk about other important issues about my country. As according to the Global Competitiveness Report from the World Economic Forum, Colombia is the second in the region on business dynamisms. Is second in the region in financial system stability. An important issue is that Colombia is part of the OECD. Yeah, it gives you the promise that we're going to work with international rules. Yeah, so it's going to be easier in order like an Indian or a Japanese or an European or an American companies come here because like we have like unstable rules in order to know how to make business, and the visibility, it's one of the most important things. And we have a great capacity for conflict resolution to the well-known Center for Arbitration and Conciliation, the Bogota Chamber of Commerce. I think that this is one of the most important things, that when you're going to invest in a country, you will be able to be sure about the information first that you receive. And second one is if you have any kind of controversy, yeah, you will have the right protection in order to request protection in foreign direct investment and so on. Taking in mind that we already know where we're talking from, yeah, and where is Colombia right now. Let me introduce to the third part. I would like to introduce the trade policies and different agreements that we already have. So from here, I would like to introduce and talk about regional agreements. Right now, we have 18 free trade agreements in force, which allow preferential access to the 60 countries and 1.5 billion consumers. We're talking that we have Andean community. Andean community, it's Colombia, Ecuador, Peru, and Bolivia. We have the Pacific Alliance, that it's Mexico. Mexico, it's here, Colombia, Peru, and Chile. We have an free trade agreement with Chile, with Mexico, with Canada, with the United States, with the North Triangle, that is Central America, with Costa Rica, the Mercosur. Mercosur is Brazil. Yeah, the Mercosur, that is for Brazil, that is south part of the region. Cuba, we have it's not an free trade agreement, but we have an partial scope with some relations with Cuba. We have CARICOM, that is all the islands of the Caribbean islands, Nicaragua, Venezuela. We have the European Union. In Asia, we have with South Korea. With the Pacific Alliance, we have a free trade agreement with that is in implementation, that is with Singapore. It's going to be a great door to new opportunities with the Asian market. We have with the Israel, we have with the EFTA, and the last that was signed with was with the United Kingdom after the Brexit issues. So if you can hear, we have the opportunity to address 90%. Well, I think that this we have the opportunity to address 90% of the countries of the region. So, for example, taking in mind the relocation of the supply chain, if you are located in Colombia, you're going to have tariff benefits. Yeah, taking in mind all the region. So, yeah. Which other information I have here? We can talk that the country boasts 5 major commercial hubs that are Bogota, that is the capital, Medellin, Cali, Barranquilla, and Cartagena, in contrast to many Latin American countries with only 1 or 2 major cities. So here we have 5 different cities where you can place your or start your startup. Taking in mind, for example, Bogota is the capital. Cali is near to the port of Buenaventura to make connections to Asia. Barranquilla and Cartagena is in the Caribbean Sea. If you want to make connection with the Pacific, is Cali, and Barranquilla and Cartagena is for the Atlantic Ocean. Yeah, so we have ports in both parts. So it makes like a difference to make business here. Our weight average of tariff is right now is 2.4. And our first and most important trade partners today is the United States, China, Ecuador, Panama, and Brazil in the region. So we have important exchange operations, import and export. Taking in mind about this trade policies agreement, we have access, well, to the taking in mind some numbers. Yeah, we have access to the largest markets in the region, as we said: United States, Pacific Islands, Canada, Mercosur, Central America, Colombia, and finally from here, Colombia has the FTA, the best FTA access conditions to the U.S. market. That is our longest import market. The average, taking in mind that information, is we can say that the average tariff is 0 from Colombian to the US. There are 96% of the subsidies that Colombia exports to the United States enter the market with a 0% tariff, and it's and it has a convenient regional content value rules. So, for example, taking in mind, for example, the conditions that we have with Peru, we can make some global value change through the FTA that Peru have with Colombia in order to access to the American market. Yeah, taking in mind the rules of the region of the rule of origin and well the other trade rules that we need to take in mind. From this part in agreements, as using the map, we have like a preferential access by cargo and see advantages. For example, if you're taking a plane from here to Toronto in Canada, you're going to be 6 hours. It's the same difference that we have from Colombia to Argentina. It's around, so yeah, so it's like we are in the middle, more or less in the middle of the continent. So it gives us the opportunity to, if you want to relocate, we talk about, well, we have this strategical point. More or less, it's about between, for example, if we take a ship cargo, it's going to be like around between 6 and 8 days to Miami, say between 15 days to Montreal. In Canada, it takes around more or less 14, 15 days to Chile, yeah, in the south part. So we have like a cross connection, like you're in the middle. So it's a perfect place to be a hub for new investments. Which other point I would like to review? We have at the same time most competitive air freights in the region, and the busiest cargo terminal is the Bogota International Dorado Airport. That is the main one. Is located here in the city. An average of freight cargo, for example, to Mexico, it's 1.5 US dollars by kilo. To Brazil, it will be 2.17. From to Chile, that is going to be like, it's 12 days is 1.9. So we have a very good opportunities taking in mind these logistic issues. So yeah, this is how it works, our trade and policies agreement. So I will move to the next one. Well, let's talk about investment, even though I already give you some important points. Colombian legal and regulatory system are generally transparent and consistent with the international norms. The country has a comprehensive legal framework for business and foreign direct investment. We have different tax incentives to all investors, such as preferential import tariff, tax exemptions and credit or risk capital, and some fiscal incentives are available for investment that generate new employment or production in areas impacted by natural disasters and foreign conflict affect municipalities. At the same time, companies can apply for this directly with the participating agencies. Tax and fiscal incentives are often based on a regional sector or business size considerations. Border areas have special protections to the currency fluctuations in neighboring countries, which can impact local economies. National and local governments also offer special incentives, such as tax holidays to attract specific industries. This process in Colombia has started right in the 90s, and like they already start to be making the difference. Other important issues that the Colombian government is working on, it's, for example, the benefits that we have in the, we have a very very interesting free trade zone regime that offer a very good opportunities in order like to work on this global supply chain. So, for example, if you are located in a foreign trade zone, you will have a special tax, income tax reduction. Normally, the income tax of the country is 35%. If you are located in the free trade zone, it will be like around 20, with some conditions that the company must apply. That is an internationalization plan. We have exemption. If you are located in a free trade zone, you have like an exception of customs duties. That is the VAT and the tariff for goods imported from the rest of the world. The merchandise could stay in the free trade zone with more longer than a year for after the free trade zone. Hi, how do, the free trade zone excuse me. The free trade zone qualification period, or the free trade zone yeah, for the free trade zone well, hold that. Excuse me. For the time of the qualification of the free trade zone, that normally it's about like 30 years, so you don't have to pay that. And right now the government is working in a very good laws around the how to do e-commerce through the free trade zones. So making that an important issue, because like you can introduce your merchandise to a free trade zone, yeah, and from there start to make the result point, yeah. And if you are located in, so we have like at the same time, if you make the production, if you had the origin certificate from Colombia, like you're going to, for example, shift the US market from a free trade zone from Colombia. So it's a very important issue that we have right now. Which other information? Taking in mind other like from the region, and take in mind one of the complex issues when we talk about doing business in another country is the tax system. Taking in mind we have today and a very like a special tax system that today is like around our tax income tax is 35%. We have some special benefits for mega investment projects. And yeah, and we have a very good legal stability for such mega investment projects that, for example, is something that other countries in the region do not offer at well. So yeah, that is an important point. Taking in mind other issues about connectivity, here in my country, we can say that 98% of the Colombian municipalities are connected to the world through the optical fiber. It's something that the government has been working on. We're the fourth largest IT market in Latin America. We have 11 submarine cables in operation, being the second country in the region with better connectivity and transmission and stability. At the same time, Colombia offers one of the lowest operating costs in the world for the provision of IT services. We're third most entrepreneurial country in Latin America. Yeah, so it's a good point. And 66% of the internet penetration in the country, with it means that you will have access is that 32.7 million of users that you are going to have that have access to the internet. So for example, for e-transactions, it's going to be a very interesting market. We're working in different ways, taking in mind investment about new technologies. Yeah, Colombia, it's open, for example, and it's working on some implementation in blockchain, artificial intelligence, and Internet of Things. So it will be an interesting issue taking in mind the investment and climate opportunity. Okay, finally, taking in mind the time that I have, we're going to talk about a little bit about what are the MSMEs support information that we have for our country. Here, it's an OECD study that we have for 2022. And they describe how the composition of the in Colombia size firms in 2020. We see the micro is 93.2, the small is 5.0, and the medium is 1.10. The big only achieved 0.4. But one of the main laws that we have for entrepreneurship companies here in Colombia is the law 2069 of 2020. And the main points of this law goes to the reduction of burdens and procedures for entrepreneurs in the country with the aim of facilitate with the main aim to facilitate their creation and the formalization and development of the small medium enterprises, better conditions in the public procurement market for the participation of these companies, incentive for growth with the arrival of more players in the investment of financing ecosystem, optimize the management of resources, reducing their that optimization by improving the functionality, impact, and use of the resources of the intervention of instruments, facilitate the appropriation and entrepreneurship culture in Colombia through schools and higher educations. So this is, I think that this is one of the most important because we're going to make the difference for SMEs from schools and from the society. Yeah, so schools are taking in mind that opening new businesses and develop new businesses is going to make the difference for the future. And in the same way, for example, with the new government, they are working on giving new opportunities for the startups, and it's given the opportunity to open Colombian relations to the world. taking in mind, it comes to my mind, for example, in the last month, for example, the first Minister of Government Affairs of India was in a business meeting here in Colombia, taking in mind the opportunities that we have to improve our relationships. At the same time, we're looking for new kind of markets, and we're looking relations with Africa, and we're looking relations to the other Southeast countries in Asia, more than our normal markets that are the European Union and the US. So I think that this is the time to act, this is the time to react, and this is the time to MSMEs companies to participate in global value change, yeah, through this kind of opportunities that the government is giving for us. So taking in mind, I would like to talk about different kind of companies that are making the difference here in Colombia, that today they are considered medium small enterprise here. For example, if we review the Forbes, the last year in July, published a list of the most important startups here in Colombia. We can talk about, for example, there are different kind of sectors. Taking in mind, for example, Just Image, that is an company located in Bogota, and for example, that is in all the books, yeah, in all the books area. And for example, this book project will Just Image already have like 2 years in the market, and it will be in the product development of sustainable products that today it's they sold through the Amazon platform. At the same time, we could take other, for example, taking in mind other startup, it's Green Coffee Company, taking in mind coffee, Colombian, one of the most beverage well-known in my country, and Colombia is well-known for the country. This startup is called Green Coffee Company, yeah, and this company is located in the central north part of the city in Antioquia, yeah, and they work with different with 14 different farms around the city, local farms, to produce their coffee, yeah. And they hire normally or one of their responsibilities is they hire I don't know how to say that in English. One moment. I will search because mother head of household. Yeah, it's okay. Yeah. Yeah, and they work with mother head of households, so it making the difference of this kind of startups. And they've been like selling this coffee like in different kind of markets, and Asia is one of the most potential one that they have. And finally, I want to talk another one special that is listed by Forbes. It's Mango Beach. Yeah, Mango Beach is located in the city of Medellin, and this is one of them taking in mind some Colombian flavors, special flavors on fruits through different kind of ice creams. And we can continue, like Forbes already make like a special list of 25 of the most 25 important startups that we have here in our country. So yeah, we have like many opportunities to develop. Finally, but not least, we have different taking in mind those kind of those kind of histories, like I would like to talk and close with the investment opportunity that we have. Already said the free trade zones, one of the best one options that we're working on. And the investment sectors, we have an interesting politics about technology-based services, taking in mind information technology, outsourcing industry BPO, life, life science, health services, and cosmetics, manufacture, construction materials, and food and beverage industries, infrastructure and city projects. For example, the biggest project here in the biggest project that we have in infrastructure is the metro of Bogota. And the first metro of Bogota, it's been the first part. It's made today by an Chinese consortium. And today the government is open, or yeah, I think that they already opened the bidder, or open the call the bidders for the construction of the second part of the metro of Bogota. So yeah, so we're in this process. That is the most important infrastructure project that we have today in my country. And obviously we're working on all the things about services and the creative industry that have some important tax incentives that we need to review if you're interested. So finally, at the conclusion of my presentation of my country, we can say that taking in mind, Colombia is a country with a strategic geographic position. We already talked about some important issues about that. It's in Colombia, we have a minimum investment with less capital is required, and opening a company is not that it's not that hard. It will take like between 1 or 2 days in order or less to open and build opportunities in the country. The free trade zones and all the investor support that the Colombian offers through the government institutions like ProColombia, that is the foreign direct investment offices that we can find around the world in more than 34 countries. And each city have their own direct agency to promote their investment trade. And they're more than open and more than welcome to give you some information or more insightful information about any of the different 5 hubs that we have here in Colombia. So I want only to say thanks very much for this opportunity to talk to you, to share about my country. If you have any information, please, you can contact me. I will be very happy to share, like, we can take like online coffee, taking in mind or other opportunity that we have. And at the same time, we're open, and like as a leader of the Colombian chapter, I'm open to work, and I'm so interested in work with the African market in order to create new trade strategies and with the Asian market. So thanks very much. It was a pleasure to be here, and have a good morning, good night, or good afternoon, wherever you are right now. And Sextanilla, and thanks very much.
Thank you, Dr. Sebastian. Thank you for sharing such lovely and deep information with us. And thank you for your time. Once again, I'd like to say thank you from the entire GCPI team. Thank you.